Here's a quick video about the progress of my 3D printer build. Just really briefly, here's what it looks like. I'll have another video about the design itself, but I did design it and I have most of the parts right now, which is pretty exciting. So it's going to be mostly composed of this 2020 aluminum extrusion. So all this stuff is from Mizumi except for the open rails stuff. I'm going to be using open rails V wheels. So you can see here's the Mizumi and here's the V-slot extrusion. And you can see the slight difference in the edges of the extrusion. For some reason the V-slot is a little bit longer, which is gonna probably be a problem. So I don't know why it's like that. But moving on, here are the Z-axis motors. They actually have lead screws integrated, which is fantastic. These are the same brand as on my current 3D printer. It's a rigid bot. So that's interesting. These were super cheap on eBay, which is always great. Here is a good bit of the hardware. So I got a good amount of stuff from Open Builds. These are all the screws that I use, big bag. And all the nuts are from China because they're cheap. Lots of nice T-nuts. I've got the drop-in kind and the slide-in kind, which should offer a little bit more strength, I guess. I have a couple of old things in here. This is an old extruder motor that's been used quite a bit, but I'm going to use that because I don't have anything better yet. And also an E30 V6 hot end, which I couldn't get to work in the past for some reason. I think it's because the thermistor is different and it was giving me bad temperature readings, but it didn't work very well with PLA. Here are the stepper motors that I actually got from China. These are 400 steps per revolution instead of 200, which I'm really curious about. I don't know how that's going to perform, so we'll see. And it's mounted to a Open Builds bracket or plate for NEMA 17 motors. Here's the other one, same thing. Here are the pulley plates, also from Open Builds. These are just pulleys for the belt, which will be running along with the motors. And the belts are going to be controlling the X and Y axes. Here's a whole bunch of miscellaneous stuff that I have from Open Builds. Lots of spacers. I actually assembled all of the V wheels already, and I'll show you that. But I also have some 3D printed corner brackets because the ones that I got from China did not come yet, sadly, and they really should have. So here are the assembled gantry bits. This is regular Mizumi extrusion. Of course I didn't need to use V-wheel, V-slot stuff for everything because that would be a waste of money. So for everything that doesn't actually have V-wheels touching it, it's the regular stuff. So this is going to kind of slide along up and down the Z-axis. Of course it's not adjusted for any extrusion yet, but I just wanted to get all the V-wheels assembled and get a feel for them, and they're actually really fantastic. So these are something like 50 of these, I think 52 in the whole thing. So it's a lot of stuff, but they all seem to be very tight in tolerance. They're all very similar, and I've tried a whole bunch of them, and it's honestly it's fantastic stuff. I'm really happy with it. There's a problem with the Delrin V wheels. I'm noticing is that if you leave it on the piece of extrusion without moving it for a while, they do flatten out, which is a bit strange. So I probably should have gotten the polycarbonate ones, but oh well. Here is the Gantry Assembly thing. I have extra long spacers on one side so that you can easily mount stuff without it rubbing up against the extrusion, but I feel like this is going to be great because it's really solid and I have tons of mounting holes, so I can really easily design an extruder mount and a fan mount and everything, and also get the electronics on here. So you can see that's the same as that part in the middle. And I'm going to show you how it actually rolls on this extrusion. So there it goes. It's really smooth. It's fantastic. I mean, if you play around with this, there's absolutely no give, and it rolls fantastically smoothly. I'm incredibly happy with it. So that's great. I also have not gotten any corner plates yet, so I'm just printing a whole bunch of them. And they're actually printing right now. And about the corner brackets, sadly, these aren't too great. I've been playing around with them. Of course, you wouldn't expect them to be too rigid because it's 3D printed, but, you know, it's still disappointing. And I'll have to bear with it in the meantime, because my brackets should have come, but, you know, what am I going to do? And I am printing a bunch more of these on my current rigid bot, which is right here. So now I'm going to start playing around with this stuff a little bit more and see if I can create the frame the way it should be.